Hey folks, welcome back to the Greg Luchak Show. This is part 3 of the 110-year-old basement renovation that you've been watching. Today I'm going to talk to you about how we're going to mitigate and insulate the basement with the foundation problems that this house has. So I'll just turn the camera around and explain to you what we're doing. Okay, here we are. So this is one of the exterior walls. So in this room there's 2 exterior walls. And we'll get to this. You can see where we started to do some styrofoam, but I want to explain to you the problem that's going on here. A few years ago when the clients bought the house, they discovered that the foundation had some issues. It was leaking a bit because it's not sealed properly outside. This is a 110-year-old house with a 110-year-old hand-poured foundation. So they had a company come in and they did some reinforcing to the foundation, which is what you can see here. This area here is where they poured some concrete. They added some rebar to the foundation and poured concrete to try and give it a little bit more strength because one of the issues with this house is because there's only 3 feet in between the houses here. It was very difficult to replace the foundation without exposing the neighbors' houses to risk. So they decided to leave it as is. On the outside, they paved in between the houses to try and limit the amount of water flow, shed water coming off the roof, etc., from rain, etc., to shed it away from the house to help eliminate that water problem. But on the inside, because the foundation is porous, rather than do a normal system where you would either have an air barrier or you'd have construction paper, like a tar paper, 15-pound felt paper, and then you would insulate. We're not going to do that. We want the wall to breathe. Because what we want it to do is to try and keep it aired out, keep it dry. So what we're going to do is what you see here is we're putting 2 inches of styrofoam and leaving a 1-inch air gap in behind. And then in front, we're going to do 3 inches of Ruxol sound insulation, or actually in this case, it would be R14 insulation. So this wall cavity will have R24 value, R10 with the styrofoam and R14 with the Ruxol, and that will give us our insulation. We don't require a vapor barrier. It protects the regular insulation. The styrofoam protects the regular insulation from any dampness. And what we're going to do at the top of the wall here, for example, we're going to have a vent, and at the bottom of the wall we'll have another vent, because what we want to do is vent that airspace so that we can keep the wall as dry as possible. Now, there is minor, like you can see down here, there's minor dampness. So that's what we want to try. We don't want to avoid, what we want to do is avoid trapping dampness, because if you trap the dampness, for example, if we put a vapor barrier up and trap that so it doesn't breathe, it can turn into mold, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So that's the system we're using to mitigate this issue with the foundation and the insulation. So I'm going to carry on. I'm going to complete insulating this room, and then I'll turn the camera back on and show you what we've completed. Okay, so there you can see we have the first layer of styrofoam in. 2 inches of styrofoam that's leaving about a 1-inch gap in behind the wall for our airspace. You can see there's where our top vent is going to go there. And then we'll have another vent. Probably going to cut a vent here, and then that's going to be closets, but we're going to create vents in the closet as well. So now I'm going to go and we're going to put a layer of R14 rock wool insulation, and I'll show you that when I'm done. Okay, so there you can see we've put in our R14 rock wool insulation. You can see there's where we're going to vent it. Now you'll notice there's an electrical box there. There was a wire, well, there was an outlet in the dining room that was wired in with the basement. It got severed at some point when they did the demolition. So in order to fix that, we had to put a junction box, but we're putting the junction box in the area of the vent so it's accessible. Because by code, you cannot bury a junction box, but this particular junction box will be accessible through the vent cover. So it should be okay like that. And that resolves the issue with the outlet upstairs. And there you go, continue on, you can see the rock solid insulation. So we have an R24 insulated basement wall. We're venting it because of moisture issues with the porous existing foundation wall. So this is our resolution for that. There will not be any vapor barrier because we don't want to trap moisture. We want the wall to breathe. So I hope you enjoyed today's quick little video, an update on stage 3 of the 110-year-old basement renovation. As always, you have a great day and you keep crushing it.